Hi everyone. This is a recording that's going to go over the process of peer review for all of you. So I'm going to go ahead and go into a screen share. And let me see here. I don't see the option I need. One second. Go ahead and get into a screen share of that document. Here we go. Okay, so I should be screen sharing this document, and I'm pulling it straight from my desktop, but you will see it on Canvas under week 3. I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit on the screen so you can see it really well as I go through everything. Okay, so peer review. What is peer review? Peer review is when we look at each other's work and we make suggestions for how to make it better prior to a grade. A lot of students maybe don't realize that peer review is common. And when I say common, not just in classes, but in life. So if I'm sending a really important email somewhere, or if I'm writing a grant to try to get extra funds for our college, I'm not going to write it by myself and then submit it without having someone else look at it. I would ask one of my colleagues in the English department, or even in a different department, like, hey, would you mind reading over this for me before I hit send? So don't ever feel, if we go through peer review, you have to understand that nobody's perfect. None of us are perfect writers, including me. And there's always something that we can gain or learn or improve upon by having an extra pair of eyes or 2 or 3 extra pairs of eyes looking at our work. So that's the purpose of peer review. When you get to this worksheet layout on Canvas, here's what it looks like. And the name of the student writer, that's whoever's paper it is that you are reviewing. Okay, so you're in groups of 3 on your discussion board forum. You are all instructed to upload a file that's got your rough draft. You're going to click on one of your peers' rough drafts, put that person's name in this blank. So if I am reviewing Jane Smith's paper, I'm going to put Jane Smith right here, and then I would put my name, whatever my name is, right here. I'm the peer reviewer, and then whoever wrote the paper, I'm going to put their name there to keep things straight. Okay, next, the first thing that we're going to look at is idea development. And idea development, if you have had a chance to look at our grading rubric, is the first category. You got to get your ideas down in order to get credit for any assignment, and that goes for any class, not just English. So look through. There's 5 prompts: introduction, obstacles, academics, career, and financial. There's those topics that you had to write about. When you read the person's essay, make sure you can spot all of those categories that they have addressed. They've addressed every single one of the topics they were supposed to for their ideas in order to get credit. Pay special attention. So the instructions tell you to make sure that they responded to all of the prompts in a clear and easy to follow manner. And then if they missed a section, we need to note that. And then also if they did not answer all the questions in one or more of the sections, you need to note that as well. So some of those sections, such as academics and career, had 3 questions within the question. They need to, you need to make sure when you're reviewing, did they answer all 3 of those in each section? Okay, so pay careful attention to that part of it. So you've got a little space here where you are going to download this file. After you read their essay, you type some notes, things that you observed or things you think they should improve upon, then give them a score. If you think they did pretty well but have a little bit of work to do, maybe 8 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10. Some students have a hard time giving a rating to their peers, but give it your best, okay? I don't want to see perfect 10s given in every category to every student, so you'll notice each one of these has like out of 10 where you rate the student. Nobody's perfect, so I don't want to see someone go through and just go 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. I'm going to think you didn't read it, or you didn't analyze it very carefully, or you just only spent 5 minutes on it. And so you're just like, great job, great job, great job all the way through. You're not going to get credit for this assignment, okay? So likewise, don't give everyone, I mean, if you feel like they really did a bomb-ass job on a certain section, give them a 10 there, but don't go through and give them straight 10s in every single section. Likewise, don't go through and give them very bad scores like 1s and 2s unless they just didn't even do the work. So if something's absolutely missing and they just didn't even do it, then that would be criteria for like a 0 or a 1 score. But otherwise, just give them what you think. Like overall, you did okay, but need a little improvement or whatever you think the score should be. Okay, organization. Follow the order that's on the assignment sheet. Put the introduction first, then do the obstacles second, then do the academics third, and then the career fourth, etc. You may note in a previous video I gave you permission. Those sections that have like 3 questions each going on, if you feel like you need to flip-flop the order of those questions, you're still answering all 3 questions, but you maybe flip-flop the order or whatever, that's fine, okay? But we shouldn't have the introduction of the essay falling in the middle, and we shouldn't have the financial needs part coming number 2. You know, we need to have everything roughly in order, and you'll notice I ordered here. These are your sections. So literally just put an X, 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 X if they did everything correctly and it's in the correct order. Okay, check mark, check mark, check mark, basically. If they messed up something, so let's say they did X here, but this one, uh-oh, I see some problems going on in academics, highlight it. Highlight it to bring it to their attention, and then out to the side, type them a note to tell them, hey, you missed the question about who or what inspired you the most for this section. You know, let them know what part was it in the academic section that you noticed is missing something or is out of order or there's something wrong, okay? So that's what you want to do here. I'm going to undo my highlights, okay? Sorry, I've got a washer going on in the background here. I'm in my laundry room right now. And then again, you're going to give them an overall score out of 10. Word choice is overall and within the paragraphs. Read through each sentence carefully to ensure that the student minimizes the use of all contractions. A contraction in English means you're putting words together like I'm or isn't or don't or doesn't. Instead of saying I am or is not or does not, you're squishing those words together and using an apostrophe. We actually want to get rid of those as much as we can in our formal writing because it looks like you didn't spend a lot of time on it. Spelling things out a little bit more is going to make your writing look more professional. So when you see them doing this, I'm and isn't and things like that, highlight it on the document itself. Also make a note of it here that they need to cut those. Abbreviations is when you shorten everything. So for example, when we're writing, we want to say Spokane Community College the first time we say it. Then afterwards you can say SCC, okay? But don't just assume SCC, SCC, SCC that they're going to know what college you're talking about. Or if you say, I want to become an RN, well, what's an RN, okay? You need to say registered nurse the first time, and then RN you can use afterwards. So minimize the use of abbreviations. Always make sure you spell out the meaning of it first, and then you can abbreviate it after. Minimize contractions, squishing words together. Slang and unprofessional speech, we want to get rid of that. Common idioms, students maybe don't think of things like hit the nail on the head or hit the jackpot or something like that. It doesn't even have to include the word hit, but common sayings that make us seem a little bit more unprofessional. It's okay to have that. You have some professors will refer to these as like cliche terms. Using them occasionally is okay, but when they're used frequently, it makes your writing look less professional. Also avoid text language. So through with a U instead of spelling the word out again. Texting sometimes changes our language. Make sure you're using proper formal English language rather than text language. Okay. Then we want to also avoid the use of the word you or second person throughout. So I mentioned this in a previous video. We always in our college essays want to use third person voice, which is like he, she, it, or they. In this particular case, where the professor has asked you to write about your personal life and your personal experiences, it's totally okay to say I and me. We don't want to say you, though. We don't want to be writing our essay and say, you know, or you think, or just when you feel like the world was going great. It should be like, no, just when I felt like the world was going great, then something bad happened. Or just when I was doing well in math class, then I failed a test. It should never be you. So make sure you avoid that throughout the essay, okay? So these are things to pay attention to. And if you see them, highlight them in the document itself or either type them here. So tell the student, be careful about using, you know, SCC too much. Or, you know, make some notes about things that you see in this regard, okay? And then you can highlight on their essay itself if you need to. Sentence fluency. Okay, this is the hardest one, I think. Read through each paragraph carefully aloud, meaning out loud, like read it out loud to yourself and listen to the flow of ideas. This is going to help you with sentence fluency. On the essay itself, so you're going to have the student's essay open. Highlight any areas that are incoherent or unclear, awkward, or choppy, and then use this space to indicate common issues. So let me go back into this screen share here. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Okay. So on the essay itself, we're going to highlight any spots where you notice that something's awkward, and you'll be able to spot that the best if you read it out loud, okay? Then you'll also want to use the space below to indicate any frequent issues that you observed or any really specific issues that you observed in specific paragraphs, okay? So when we talk about shifts between past and present tense, that means they're talking about something that happened or is happening right now, but they use a past tense verb, or, you know, sometimes they're jumping between the past and the present and it's too confusing or whatever. Also, run-ons is when you have a sentence that goes on and on and on. A fragment is an incomplete thought. You've probably remember that maybe from high school or something. Then I want for you to get credit, I want you to make at least 3 suggestions in the space here. So I've given you an example. You literally will say, I recommend in this paragraph, you just type this out in the space below, okay? This paragraph in this sentence. So I said, for example, paragraph 3, sentence 4, paragraph 1, sentence 5, you know, whatever it is, tell them the paragraph, what number it is of paragraphs, and also what sentence number it is. And then you give them a rewording suggestion. Do 3. You don't have to do more than 3. It's ultimately up to them as the writer to make corrections to their work and make improvements to their work. But give them 3 good solid suggestions, sentences that you saw that just really were awkward or didn't make sense, and you feel like this one really needs a lot of work. Let me help them fix this one. And you know, and you give them 3 good examples of like, here's how you can fix this sentence or that sentence, okay? Use the space below in order to get credit here for this section. Conventions, I'll make a separate video about a couple of these, but some of them you should already know. Mark the essay itself to correct issues with spelling, grammar, punctuation, and mechanics. That's what conventions means. You'll use this section to indicate common issues that the writer should be aware of in the future, such as comma usage with conjunctions or fanboys, capitalization issues with proper versus common nouns, or making sure that the subject and verb agree in person and number. So when we talk about verb agreement, I'll work backwards here. Verb agreement in person and number, you would, if you've got just one person who's doing something, you want to make sure that that verb matches just that one person. You wouldn't say they is walking, because is means like one person and they is like several people. So little things like that. I don't see this one too much. Proper versus common nouns, you have a handout that I've uploaded, and I'll do a separate video for that on capitalization. A proper noun is like if you say Meade High School. That's the sign that is on the building when you drive into the parking lot. Versus, I went to high school in Meade. High school now is just being used as a regular word. Meade is still a specific name of a specific town or a specific, you know, designation within the city. So high school is lowercase, but Meade is uppercase. So I went to high school in Meade, lowercase high school because it's a common noun right now, and then uppercase Meade because it's the name of the town. But then if you do say I attended Meade High School, like the full proper name of something, now the whole thing will get capitalized. Again, I will, I've got a handout and I'll do a separate video that goes with the handout there. Conjunctions and fanboys. This stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. I'll create a separate video to go with this one as well. But we had a really cool video that we watched when I was in elementary school. It came out in probably the late 80s, maybe even the 70s, but it's still popular, called Conjunction Junction, What's Your Function? And I'll upload that from YouTube as well for you guys to watch if you need to walk down memory lane. But the fanboys connect 2 sentences to each other. So if you say, Jane went to the beach, Johnny went to the mall. You say, Jane went to the beach, comma, but Johnny went to the mall. You're combining 2 short separate sentences together using one of these words, for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. This is an acronym that stands for those words, and we would use a comma there only when we are connecting two sentences to each other. Again, I'm going to make a separate video that talks all about those if you feel you need help. So sometimes this is the hardest part, marking the technical stuff. A lot of students will say, I just don't feel like I'm very good at that, Miss Wilson. That's what the supplemental videos will be for, is to help you with that kind of stuff. If you're not sure, don't mark it, but if you are sure, like this is definitely wrong, highlight it. So I said mark the essay itself. I probably should have more accurately said highlight the essay. When you see items that are, maybe I'll change that right now. When you see items that are amiss or not right, highlight it, because ultimately it is the job of the student writer to fix it. You're just going to highlight the spot where you think there's an issue. Voice, this aspect of the essay will not be graded for this first assignment, but it will be graded later. So we want to practice it now. Mainly for this essay, make sure that we keep a positive, not a negative tone. No one's going to award you any money if you're just negative, 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 and you don't have any confidence in yourself. So make sure you keep an overall positive outlook throughout the essay. And then if you're reviewing someone, you want to kind of look for that. And then also, again, this is the second time I've emphasized it, make sure we avoid second person you throughout the essay. So provide any comments here if you need to. So did the person maintain a positive tone overall? Yes, no, or mostly but still needs work? You can pick one of these choices, highlight one of the choices. Avoided second person you throughout most of the essay? Yes, no, or mostly but still needs work? You can highlight whatever choice best fits. If you highlight no or mostly still needs work, please make a comment underneath and let them know why you selected that. So if I said, if they did not maintain a positive voice overall, and I said mostly but still needs work, if I highlight that one, I need to tell them why. In the obstacles section, which is usually where this comes up, you really were a little bit too negative about your mother's issues with substance abuse or whatever it is. Okay, I'm just giving you guys an example here. Okay, just give them a brief statement. If they didn't, if it's a yes, then okay, we're good. If they kind of didn't quite get it the way it needed to be, they kind of missed the mark a little bit, so to speak. There's a idiom for you. Then you need to just give them a brief comment so that they know what to fix. Okay. Lastly, if you have any additional comments for the writer, please provide those here. So with that, this is it. This is it for the peer review worksheet. And again, if you feel like you struggle more with the conventions part of things, the spelling, grammar, punctuation, remember that I'm uploading a couple of extra separate videos as well as documents to help you kind of, refreshers on stuff like that. The last notes I'll make here is how long should this take you? If we were in class together, usually I'd set aside 2 full class periods. So class periods are 50 minutes each, and it'll take us 2 full class periods usually. Sometimes we will even need like maybe the first 20 minutes of a third class period. It really takes a while, especially the first time that we peer review. So a group of 3, meaning you are going to review 2 other people's work. I would suggest you spend at least 30 minutes on this, at least, maybe more like 45. So think about if we spent 2 whole class periods at 50 minutes each, that's how much time you should be putting into this. Okay, so 30 to 45 minutes. I recommend, as far as your process, download their essay first, read through it, and just make highlights. So download the student's essay. If it's Jane Smith, download her essay and just give it a read and read it out loud, and then just use your highlighter on Word to just highlight spots, but keep moving. You do not have to fix it. You just need to mark the spot if you see a problem, okay? Then once you get to the end of reading her whole essay, then go back and kind of answer some of these questions. And if you need to flip back and forth and, wait a minute, I can't remember, let me look back to that. It's a short essay. Usually you'll remember like roughly what page that was on because there's only like 2 or 3 pages to choose from. So read their essay first. That usually takes, 10 minutes, and then make a few highlights as you go of any items you see. Then go through and make your comments on this page. So you're going to save it, and then you're actually going to reply on the discussion board and attach this file. So on the discussion board in Canvas, you'll say peer review for Jane Smith, upload and attach the file that you have now created where you filled all of this in for Jane Smith, okay? Worst case scenario, you can't get a file to upload. You could always copy and paste all of this into the text box on the discussion board and then post it for Jane Smith, okay? Sometimes that gives students a little bit of trouble. Like, how am I actually technically supposed to like upload it and all of that? Like, what am I supposed to do with this, Miss Wilson? But feel free to, again, email me if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. And as always, let me know if you have any trouble. Good luck.